Enthusiasm is the spark that lights every great achievement, the invisible force that transforms an ordinary idea into an unstoppable movement. In my years of studying success, I have yet to meet a single person who reached the heights of their potential without first mastering the art of enthusiasm. It's not luck, it's not circumstance, it's a state of mind, cultivated and built day after day until it radiates from you like warmth from the sun. Most people misunderstand enthusiasm. They think it's just a burst of excitement, a flash of energy that comes and goes. But true enthusiasm is something much deeper. It's a sustained, burning desire, deep belief in your purpose that infuses every action, every word, every decision with power. It is the heartbeat of leadership, the engine of persistence, and the magnet that draws people and opportunities to your side. I remember a time early in my career when I was struggling to get traction. I had the knowledge, I had the plans, but I couldn't seem to gain momentum. Then I met a man who ran a small business with such infectious enthusiasm that everyone around him caught fire. His team worked harder, his clients returned again and again, and even in difficult times, people rallied behind him. I realized then that enthusiasm wasn't a personality trait, it was a conscious choice. He chose every morning to greet the day with energy, to pour life into every project, and to inspire others by his example. How do you develop this kind of enthusiasm? It starts with a definite purpose. When you are clear about what you want and why you want it, energy begins to build naturally. You wake up with anticipation. You move through challenges with resilience. Obstacles become stepping stones instead of roadblocks. Your mind, focused on a clear goal, generates the power you need to keep going. But clarity alone isn't enough. You must also feed your mind with positivity. What you read, who you associate with, the thoughts you nurture, these shape your emotional climate. Surround yourself with people and ideas that inspire, uplift, and challenge you. Speak words of encouragement to yourself and to others. Your mind is a garden, and enthusiasm is the flower that blossoms when you plant seeds of hope, confidence, and gratitude. Enthusiasm is contagious. It leaps from person to person, sparking action and collaboration. When you approach your work, your relationships, and your challenges with genuine excitement, you make others believe that something better is possible. Doors open, partnerships form, new ideas take root. Perhaps most important, enthusiasm sustains you through adversity. There will be days when things go wrong, when setbacks seem insurmountable, when doubts creep in. It is in these moments that enthusiasm becomes your shield. It is the voice that says, "Try again." It is the fire that refuses to die out. The world will often test your resolve, but if you've built the habit of enthusiasm, nothing can keep you down for long. So, if you want to change your results, start by changing your attitude. Decide right now that enthusiasm will be your companion, no matter the circumstances. Feed it with purpose, guard it with positivity, and share it freely with the world. In time, you'll find that this single habit transforms not just your work, but your entire life. You may wonder, is enthusiasm really something you can control? The answer, with absolute certainty, is yes. Enthusiasm is a choice, a deliberate act of will, not a random burst of emotion. It can be summoned, strengthened, and made permanent, even on the toughest days. The secret is to treat enthusiasm as a habit, not a mood. Like any habit, it requires intention, repetition, and a willingness to keep building, even when you don't feel like it. Let me tell you about a young woman I once met at a lecture. She told me she was stuck in a job she didn't love, surrounded by negativity, and feeling uninspired. "How can I be enthusiastic," she asked, "when nothing in my life is exciting?" My answer was simple, but it changed her perspective. Start small. Find one thing each day to approach with energy and optimism, no matter how minor. Smile at a colleague. Bring extra care to a routine task. Offer encouragement to someone who needs it. Soon she discovered that these small sparks began to light a larger fire within her. Her attitude shifted, her results improved, and eventually, new doors opened that she never could have imagined from her old vantage point. This is the power of enthusiasm. It turns routine into adventure, struggle into growth, and ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. It gives you a distinct edge, no matter your field. Employers notice it. Customers are drawn to it. Friends and partners are uplifted by it. People want to be around those who radiate positive energy. Because enthusiasm promises, hope it suggests that, no matter the challenge, progress is possible. But there is another side to enthusiasm that is just as vital: resilience. When you practice enthusiasm daily, you create a buffer against disappointment and failure. Instead of crumbling at the first sign of difficulty, you become the kind of person who bounces back, stronger and wiser than before. Enthusiasm is the antidote to cynicism, to fear, to the inertia that keeps people stuck. It is the persistent whisper in your ear that says, "This is worth trying, you can do it, one more step." How do you fuel this inner fire? Remind yourself daily of your purpose. Keep your vision visible on a note by your desk, in a journal, or as a mantra you repeat each morning. Celebrate every bit of progress, no matter how small. Reflect on what you're grateful for, even when times are tough. And never underestimate the power of helping others, for every act of encouragement you give returns to you multiplied. Enthusiasm grows when shared. If you bring excitement and optimism to your team, your family, your community, you'll find that energy returns to you stronger and brighter. It's a cycle of growth that never ends, because enthusiasm, once kindled, is nearly impossible to extinguish. So, start today right where you are, with what you have. Don't wait for the perfect circumstances or for others to motivate you. Decide that enthusiasm will be your approach to life and watch as the world responds. You'll find challenges shrinking, opportunities multiplying, and your days filled with a sense of purpose and possibility. That's the reward for choosing every day to live with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, once awakened, becomes an invisible magnet. It draws to you opportunities, people, and resources that logic alone could never command. You've seen it yourself, the individual who walks into a room and changes the temperature, not with words alone, but with the sheer vitality of their presence. They are remembered. They are listened to. They are given the benefit of the doubt, even in moments of uncertainty. This is not magic. It is the natural consequence of living with purpose and letting that purpose shine through every action. But let's be clear, enthusiasm is not the same as empty cheerfulness or forced optimism. Real enthusiasm is rooted in authenticity. It springs from a genuine belief in your mission, your product, your values, or your role in the world. It cannot be faked for long, because people are perceptive. They know the difference between a performance and true conviction. If you want your enthusiasm to have power, anchor it in something real. Start with your why, the reason you get up in the morning, the goal that drives your work, the change you want to make. This is why defining your purpose is so essential. When you know what you're working for, you can summon enthusiasm even when circumstances aren't perfect. The storms of life may shake your resolve, but your vision will pull you forward. On days when fatigue threatens, when criticism stings, when progress is slow, remind yourself of the difference your efforts can make. Revisit your goals. Picture the lives you'll impact, the problems you'll solve, the legacy you'll leave. This vision is fuel for your spirit. It's also important to protect your enthusiasm from those who would dampen it. The world is full of critics, people, quick to point out flaws, risks, and reasons why things won't work. If you listen too closely, you risk letting their doubts become your own. Instead, surround yourself with those who encourage, challenge, and inspire you. Build an environment, physical and mental, where your enthusiasm is fed, not drained. Choose books, mentors, friends, and habits that reinforce your belief in possibility. Remember, too, that enthusiasm is self-renewing. The more you act with passion, the more energy you create. Start a project, take a step, share an idea, momentum grows. Even if you stumble, the very act of moving with enthusiasm will attract new options and unexpected allies. The world loves a person who believes in what they're doing. That belief is infectious. It ignites teams, convinces clients, and reassures partners when times get tough. Don't worry if your enthusiasm feels quiet or private at first. It doesn't always look like shouting from the rooftops. Sometimes it's a steady flame, burning calmly but persistently, no matter the weather. With time and attention, it will grow, And as it grows, you'll notice that the impossible begins to look possible, the daunting becomes achievable, and the ordinary takes on new meaning. Let enthusiasm be the signature of your work and your life. Make it visible in your attitude, your actions, your voice. Share it freely, protect it fiercely, and watch as it transforms not only your results, but your relationships, your health, and your sense of what is truly possible. In a world that often values cynicism over hope, enthusiasm is your quiet act of rebellion and your most reliable engine for success. One of the great discoveries you'll make as you practice enthusiasm daily is that it becomes easier and more natural with every effort. At first, it might feel forced, especially if you're surrounded by indifference or negativity, but enthusiasm, like any muscle, grows stronger the more you use it. Each act of positivity, each decision to approach your work or relationships with energy and commitment adds to your internal reserves. Before long, enthusiasm stops being something you do and becomes part of who you are. Think back to a time when you were fully absorbed in a project, maybe building something, learning a new skill, or helping someone you care about. Time seemed to fly by. Obstacles felt like challenges to be solved rather than burdens, and you finished with a sense of satisfaction that no paycheck alone could provide. That's enthusiasm in its purest form, a total engagement with life, a willingness to bring your best self to every task, no matter how small. But life, as we know, is not always filled with projects that naturally ignite our passion. There will be days of routine, tasks that seem dull or repetitive, and periods when results don't come as quickly as you'd hoped. In these times, the true test of enthusiasm is not whether you can summon excitement for the extraordinary, but whether you can bring energy and commitment to the ordinary. This is the secret known by the world's most successful people. They do small things with great passion, and over time, those small things build a legacy. You may ask, how can I keep my enthusiasm alive when nothing seems to change? The answer lies in finding meaning in every moment. Remind yourself that every phone call, every meeting, every problem solved is a stepping stone toward your bigger vision. When you choose to see value in the present, you create a well of energy that carries you through even the most difficult stretches. Enthusiasm also thrives on gratitude. When you make a habit of noticing the good in your life, your progress, your opportunities, the people who support you, you feed your mind with reasons to keep going. Gratitude turns your focus from what's lacking to what's possible. It makes setbacks seem smaller and victories feel sweeter. And never underestimate the influence you have on others. Your enthusiasm, quietly persistent or boldly expressed, is a light for those around you. You may never know the full impact of a kind word, a sincere compliment, or a display of genuine excitement for someone else's success. These small acts multiply, shaping a culture of possibility wherever you go. Of course, enthusiasm doesn't mean ignoring reality. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or refusing to acknowledge setbacks. Rather, it's about choosing again and again to respond with hope, to act with purpose, and to believe that your efforts matter. Enthusiasm is the courage to keep going, even when others quit, and to trust that every step forward brings you closer to the life you want. Let each day be a new opportunity to practice this habit. Greet your work with energy, approach your relationships with warmth, and meet challenges with a smile that says, I am ready. Over time, you'll find that enthusiasm becomes your most valuable asset, a wellspring of strength, creativity, and resilience that no circumstance can take away. Let's talk about the ripple effect of enthusiasm, not only on your own life, but on everyone you encounter. The most remarkable thing about enthusiasm is how it multiplies when shared. Walk into any workplace, any home, any gathering, and you can feel the energy shift when someone brings true, genuine excitement. People sit up straighter, ideas flow more freely, even the air feels lighter. This is no coincidence. Human beings are wired to respond to passion. It signals hope, possibility, and a reason to care. I've seen teams transformed by one person's enthusiasm. A single leader who greets the day with a spark, who sees solutions instead of problems, can lift a whole group out of apathy and into action. It's not about cheerleading or empty slogans, it's about modeling a belief that what we're doing matters. When people sense your conviction, they begin to believe in themselves and in the mission, even if they didn't at first. But let's be honest, the world is not always friendly to enthusiasm. Cynicism is easy, negativity can be contagious. There will always be those who scoff at your excitement, who see it as naive or unrealistic. That's why developing enthusiasm is, at its heart, an act of courage. It means choosing hope over doubt, creativity over complacency, and resilience over resignation. It means standing tall when others slouch, seeing a way forward when others see only obstacles. This courage is not born overnight. It grows with every small decision to show up fully, to care deeply, and to try again after a setback. It grows each time you encourage someone else or find the silver lining in a difficult day. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes until one day you realize you are no longer putting on enthusiasm, but living it. I remember a young man who once approached me after a speech. He confessed that he was shy, uncomfortable in groups, and struggled to be heard. I suggested he try something simple, focus less on impressing others and more on being genuinely interested in them. Ask questions, listen closely, celebrate their victories, and watch what happens. Slowly, his fear faded. His enthusiasm for people and for learning began to shine through. Soon he was the one others sought out, not because he was the loudest, but because he was the most sincerely engaged. That is the magic of enthusiasm. It transforms not only how you feel, but how the world responds to you. You become a magnet for collaboration, opportunity, and support. Problems begin to look more like puzzles, and even failure loses its sting, because you know you can bounce back stronger than before. If you ever doubt the value of enthusiasm, remember this. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every great relationship began with someone who cared enough to be excited about a possibility that didn't yet exist. That excitement is fuel. It drives you to learn more, to reach higher, to persist when others quit. It is the invisible force that powers achievement and makes the journey worthwhile. So keep feeding your enthusiasm, protect it from cynicism, and nourish it with hope, purpose, and gratitude. Share it generously, especially when times are tough. The more you do, the more you'll discover that enthusiasm, far from being a fleeting feeling, is the foundation for a truly extraordinary life. With every passing day that you choose enthusiasm, you'll notice subtle shifts in the world around you. Challenges that once seemed daunting now become invitations to grow. Setbacks feel less like personal defeats and more like stepping stones on the path to something greater. This isn't wishful thinking, it's the practical magic of enthusiasm in action. When you carry energy, hope, and conviction into your work, you become a catalyst, not just for your own progress, but for everyone you meet. Sometimes, enthusiasm shows its power in the smallest moments of friendly greeting, a sincere thank you, the willingness to go the extra mile even when no one's watching. These actions, seemingly minor, send powerful messages to the world. I care. I am invested. I believe in what I'm doing. People notice. They may not always say it, but they feel it. That feeling draws them closer, inspiring loyalty, friendship, and trust. You'll find that the habit of enthusiasm builds resilience like nothing else. Life, by its nature, is unpredictable. No matter how skilled or prepared you are, disappointments will come. What sets achievers apart is not that they avoid failure, but that they meet it with the energy to start again. Enthusiasm fuels that energy. It keeps you reaching for solutions when others throw up their hands. It keeps you learning, adapting, and believing that your best work is still ahead. The secret to maintaining this mindset lies in your daily choices. Feed your mind with uplifting ideas, read stories of people who overcame adversity, seek out mentors who radiate positive energy, surround yourself with those who see possibility. Even in solitude, you can nurture enthusiasm by reflecting on your progress and imagining the future you're building. Make it a ritual. Just as athletes warm up before a game, prepare your mind each day to greet the world with excitement and determination. There will always be critics, those who dismiss enthusiasm as naive or impractical. Let them. Their skepticism is a reflection of their own limitations, not yours. Remember that every major advancement in history was once doubted by the majority. What matters is not the opinion of the crowd, but the conviction in your heart. If your enthusiasm is rooted in purpose, nothing can shake it for long. Let's not forget the impact you can have on others. You never know when your energy might be the spark that ignites someone else's dream. A single encouraging word, a shared laugh, a display of genuine excitement, these can change the course of someone's day or even their life. Your enthusiasm, multiplied through your actions, becomes a gift you give freely to the world. So as you move forward, refuse to let circumstances dictate your spirit. Choose enthusiasm, not because life is always easy, but because you know it is the surest way to shape a life of meaning, achievement, and joy. With each day you practice this habit, you'll build a momentum that carries you through every obstacle and sets you apart in everything you do. Enthusiasm, when it truly becomes your way of life, has a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own success. It lifts teams, inspires families, and even changes entire organizations. You might never fully realize how many lives you touch with your energy, but rest assured, the effect is real and profound. Think about the difference one enthusiastic leader can make. A workplace filled with routine and resignation can be transformed by a single person who approaches each day with purpose and excitement. Meetings become opportunities, challenges become adventures, and people begin to believe that progress is possible even when the odds are long. It isn't the leader's job title that creates this effect, it's the example they set. Others follow not because they have to, but because they want to be part of something alive and meaningful. This same principle applies to families, friendships, and communities. When you bring genuine enthusiasm to your relationships, you invite others to share their hopes, ideas, and creativity. Children, especially, learn from what they see. If they grow up watching someone who faces life's ups and downs with a smile and a spirit of possibility, they internalize the lesson that obstacles can be overcome, that attitude matters, and that joy can be found in the effort as much as the outcome. Enthusiasm is not just loud or flamboyant, it can be quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. Sometimes it shows up as a quiet confidence, a willingness to keep going when others quit, or a calm assurance that, no matter what happens, something good can come of every situation. In fact, the most powerful enthusiasm often expresses itself not in speeches or applause, but in action, getting up early to work on your dream, helping someone in need, or sticking with a project long after the novelty has faded. As you cultivate enthusiasm, you'll notice your world expanding. New opportunities seem to find you. People seek your advice, want to collaborate, and offer their support. Even when you face resistance, your energy has a way of dissolving doubts first in yourself, then in those around you. Over time, you become known not just for what you do, but for how you do it. Let me remind you, enthusiasm is always a choice. It's not reserved for those with perfect circumstances or lucky breaks. It's a decision you make every morning and reinforce with every action. Yes, some days will be harder than others. Life will test your commitment, but those are the moments when enthusiasm matters most, when it becomes a source of strength you can rely on. So, carry this habit with pride. Make it your trademark, your legacy. Let the world see what's possible. When one person decides to meet life's challenges with energy, hope, and unshakable conviction, the results may surprise you not only in what you accomplish, but in the lives you elevate along the way. As your enthusiasm deepens, you begin to notice its effect on your ability to persevere. Where others see reasons to quit, you find reasons to try again. Challenges, setbacks, even outright failures become raw material for growth, rather than excuses for resignation. This is one of enthusiasm's greatest gifts. It fuels your resilience, turning every obstacle into an opportunity to demonstrate commitment. Think back to any great achievement in history, any story of innovation or breakthrough. You will always find a thread of enthusiasm running through the narrative. It's the force that kept inventors in their workshops late into the night, that pushed entrepreneurs to try again after bankruptcy, that kept leaders standing tall when everything seemed lost. No one achieves greatness by accident. Every success story is powered by someone who cared enough to keep going long after the novelty wore off. Enthusiasm does not guarantee an easy path, but it does guarantee you'll walk it with purpose. There will be days when doubt whispers in your ear, when others question your choices, when the work feels heavy and the results are slow to appear. In those moments, remind yourself why you began. Reconnect with your vision, your values, and your reasons for pressing forward. Let your enthusiasm rise, not because the circumstances are perfect, but because you've chosen to make hope and energy your companions. You'll also discover that enthusiasm sharpens your creativity. When you approach problems with energy, your mind opens to new possibilities. You become more curious, more willing to experiment, more courageous in pursuing unconventional solutions. Ideas seem to come more easily, and setbacks become springboards for innovation. This is how leaders, artists, and trailblazers distinguish themselves. They greet challenges not with resignation, but with a spark of excitement that says, "What else can I try?" And as you keep building this habit, don't forget the simple joys it brings to everyday life. Enthusiasm makes the ordinary feel extraordinary. Meals taste better, conversations run deeper, laughter comes more easily, and even the quiet moments are filled with meaning. The world begins to look brighter, not because it has changed, but because you have changed the way you see it. Enthusiasm also has a way of attracting like-minded people. When you radiate positive energy, you draw others who are driven by purpose and passion. Together, you amplify each other's strengths, create new opportunities, and build something greater than any one person could achieve alone. This sense of community, of shared excitement, is one of the sweetest rewards on the journey. So, no matter where you find yourself today, decide to make enthusiasm your foundation. Practice it in the face of uncertainty. Feed it with gratitude and express it generously. In doing so, you'll discover that you are not only more resilient and creative, but also more alive. And in a world that desperately needs hope and energy, your enthusiasm may just be the spark that sets everything in motion. As you keep choosing enthusiasm day after day, you'll notice how it reshapes your entire experience of life. What once felt like routine now feels purposeful. Ordinary days become stages for progress. Even the most difficult moments are met with a spirit that says, "I will find a way." This steady commitment to positive energy changes not just what you achieve, but who you become. Enthusiasm is the great equalizer. You may not have the most resources or the perfect circumstances, but with genuine excitement for your mission, you become magnetic. People want to help. Opportunities seem to appear just when you need them. Challenges that would have stopped you in the past are now invitations to dig deeper, to learn, and to grow. Your capacity expands, and with each new test, your confidence grows. Over time, enthusiasm weaves itself into your identity. You become known as the person who brings light into the room, who sees possibilities others miss, who keeps going when the rest have given up. That reputation is one of your most valuable assets. It opens doors, creates alliances, and attracts partners who want to build something meaningful with you. But the real miracle of enthusiasm is the peace it brings. When you are fully engaged, mind, body, and spirit in what you do, anxiety loses its grip. You no longer chase after approval or fear the judgment of others. Your motivation comes from within, sustained by a deep connection to your values and vision. You can move through setbacks without bitterness, through success without arrogance, because you know your worth is measured by the energy and authenticity you bring to each day. There is also a kind of wisdom that grows from enthusiastic living. You learn to savor small victories, to celebrate progress, and to see each day as a chance to practice hope. Your example becomes a guide for others' family, friends, colleagues who may be searching for their own spark. You don't have to preach or persuade. Your actions speak for themselves. The journey isn't always easy, and there will be days when your enthusiasm is tested. But remember, the habit is stronger than the mood. If you stumble, simply begin again. Return to your purpose, recall your vision, and choose once more to greet the world with energy and hope. As you look back, you'll realize that the greatest rewards weren't just the goals you achieved, but the resilience you built, the lives you touched, and the joy you experienced along the way. Enthusiasm, faithfully practiced, becomes a gift you give yourself and the world, a source of strength, creativity, and fulfillment that grows richer with every passing year. As we reach the close of this journey, let me remind you, enthusiasm is not a fleeting emotion or a spark that fades with the sunrise. It is a way of life, a discipline you choose, a light you carry, a power you can summon at will. The world belongs to those who greet each day not with resignation, but with hope, energy, and an unwavering belief in the value of their mission. Enthusiasm is the seed of every great achievement. It is the energy that turns ideas into action, obstacles into opportunities, and dreams into reality. It fuels your persistence when others quit. It ignites your creativity when the road seems blocked. It forges bonds with others and inspires them to believe that better is possible. Through every trial, it keeps your spirit alive and your vision sharp. You don't need extraordinary talent or perfect conditions to be enthusiastic. You simply need a clear purpose and the courage to pursue it with your whole heart. Decide each morning that you will bring energy and optimism to whatever the day holds. When difficulties arise, let your enthusiasm be your shield. When fatigue sets in, let your vision renew your fire. And when success comes, share your excitement freely, lifting others as you climb. Remember, enthusiasm multiplies when you give it away. Every smile, every word of encouragement, every moment of genuine engagement plants seeds that may grow far beyond your sight. Your energy becomes a force for good, attracting opportunities, friendships, and achievements you could never have imagined. So take this habit with you into your work, your relationships, your dreams. Make enthusiasm your signature. Let the world know that you are here not just to exist, but to live fully, to give your best, and to inspire others to do the same. In a world that too often celebrates cynicism, be a champion for hope. In a time when many give up, be the one who chooses to keep going with enthusiasm as your guide. The future belongs to those who believe in it, work for it, and meet it with a full and eager heart. Let enthusiasm lead you, and you will discover that its rewards are limitless not only in what you accomplish, but in who you become along the way.